This video is going to be a little bit different than most of the other videos I make on my channel. I'll admit that I kind of went down a little rabbit hole the last week or so of watching some old Ty Lopez videos, and they've inspired me to make some videos where I'm talking about my mindset that I look at for my business and how I put in the work to grow that business and grow myself to better serve my clients and make it a better experience for everyone involved. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So in this video, I'll be going over the top 5 habits that I try to work in every single day into my business to make it, again, a better business and help better serve my clients. Because if you're a new real estate agent, or maybe you've been in it for a few years, but you just feel like your business is going nowhere, chances are you're missing something. Most real estate agents just don't treat their business as a business, and it's that simple. They feel like when they get into the business that everyone they know is going to automatically use them to buy and sell a house, and it's going to be the perfect time. Right when they get the license, everyone's going to put their house up for sale. And then those people are going to tell all their friends, and then boom, you're a successful real estate agent. Well, that's also the reason why within 5 years of being in business, 87% of real estate agents fail and move on to something else. So the first habit is going to be consistency. And as the great retired coach of the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick, once said, it's not all about talent. It's about dependability, consistency, and being able to improve. If you work hard and you're coachable and you understand what you need to do, you can improve. Now, this is so important to take in as a real estate agent, because going into this business, you are going to know nothing. Unless you're coming from a family that was already in the business and you're just kind of the successor that's going to work your way into the family business. Other than that, you're going to know absolutely nothing. Yes, you're going to have to take a pre-licensing course. This literally just covers the laws and the paperwork necessary to do your job and to actually get your license. It does not teach you anything about how to run a real estate business. It does not teach you how to choose a brokerage. It does not teach you how to get clients. It doesn't teach you how to market yourself. It doesn't teach you lead generation. It doesn't teach you the systems you need to know that actually will put you through from getting the lead generation all the way to the closing table. It doesn't teach you any of that. So being consistent in whatever you choose for your way of marketing, your way of lead generation is going to be your key to success. Whether you choose social media, you're going to have to consistently post, figure out what's working, what's not working, test, improve, interact, do all this stuff to keep that working. If you choose farming a certain neighborhood, you're going to have to be mailing that neighborhood or door knocking that neighborhood for months on end, probably like 6 months before you're even going to see if your things you've been doing is actually resulting in any sales or any leads. It's one thing that's kind of frustrating about real estate is when you put a new system into practice, it takes months before you actually see if that has worked, because it's not like you can just be like a business and put a 50% sale on something and sell a ton in a day. Even if you get a client today, get them under contract for a house tomorrow, you're still going to have to wait 3 to 6 weeks before that sale actually goes through, becomes a successful sale, and you see a paycheck. So consistency is the #1 habit, I think, for real estate agents. Second is going to be continuing education. And as Jim Rohn once said, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. And one thing you'll notice when you get into real estate is it's a really big network of people who are trying to get better. They're really into self-improvement and continuing education, and it's a huge part of this job. So many people just don't even pick up a book, let alone read a book after they get out of high school or college, whatever their last schooling was. They think there's no point in reading a book. They've already learned everything they need to know. Everything else they can just pick up off of social media in 30-second clips. There's a lot of good stuff in books. I can tell you, I've read hundreds of them and they are amazing, I think. I make myself read every single day. I have a non-negotiable with myself where every single morning I sit down for at least 1 hour and read a book. And if I have more time in the afternoon/evening, I'm going to continue to read. Instead of watching TV shows and movies, I just read books, listen to podcasts. That's what I do. I'd rather be learning continuously than just taking in silly, unneeded information with TV shows and movies. I find them very boring and hard to get through now. And this content that I'm taking in through educating myself through books and podcasts is not necessarily just real estate related content. Like, it's whatever I'm interested in learning about. It can literally be anything from money, real estate, psychology, history, religion, really anything that I feel I want to learn about. And it, again, doesn't have to apply necessarily to real estate. Like, doing this stuff just makes you a more well-rounded person. It makes it easier for conversations when you do meet a stranger that's a potential new client. You have more talking points to hit on, and you actually sound like you're an educated person when you're talking about a whole range of dynamic things. And doing this, especially with like learning psychology and marketing, it really teaches me how to put that into practice through my business with my marketing, and how certain things I say or certain ways I put things like during a contract or all this stuff, I understand how the client's going to take it. So I know the best way to put it out, or at least I take the best route I think that I should put it out for them to actually receive it, whether it's good news or bad news. And if you're not continuous learning throughout life, no matter what you're doing, if you're just working a regular W-2 or you're an entrepreneur or whatever you are, you're missing out. The reason books are so crazy and there's so many of them is because they actually work, and there's some that have lasted thousands of years, probably because they have really good information and you might want to pick it up and read it. The third habit is positive energy. And as Paul Coelho said, I think I said his name right, I don't know, I'm not great with names. When you're enthusiastic about what you do, you feel this positive energy. It's very simple. And sometimes this one can be hard for me because it's not that I don't love what I do. I truly do. And every time I go to a showing or a listing appointment, on my way there, I am smiling ear to ear, just super excited about my new client or helping the client that I've been working with. But for me, it's more that I just have I'm a pretty stoic guy. I have trouble showing emotion. Even when it's excitement and good stuff, I still have trouble showing the emotion. So when I'm on these showings or when I'm at a listing appointment, I'm really trying to focus on bringing my positive energy to the table, because it's not that I don't have it, but again, I'm very stoic and I don't put it forth unless you know me very well. So I try to focus on really hitting hard on that, because when people are going to buy a house or sell a house, this is a really, really big part of their life and a big thing to do. Like, to commit to buying a house or commit to selling a house is a big thing. You want someone around you when you're the seller or buyer. You want your agent to be enthusiastic, to keep a good mind and keep you positive, keep you reinforced that, hey, this is the right decision, where you are in life, this is kind of what you decided to do. And with real estate, there's always that thing, no matter if you're buying or you're selling, they always think, is now the right time? So I make sure to bring that positive energy so that people do feel the reinforcement that, hey, you're making a good decision, you're going to make some money, or you're going to get a really nice house, whatever position they're in, that type of thing. And honestly, I'm not the best at meeting strangers. I'm a little bit socially awkward, not in the fact that I get like too nervous to talk to people. It's just sometimes I don't know what to connect with. So with my obsession of real estate, and when I'm going to show a house or list a house, I know I can talk about houses, and that'll be a common point for us to talk to. And then by the second or third meeting or showing, then we're talking just like old friends, and it doesn't have to necessarily be based around real estate. And also, people just feel an attraction to positive people. And I'm not talking about like a sexual attraction. I'm talking about like a magnetic pull. When you're always upbeat, you're smiling, you're in a good mood, you're talking about the good side of things instead of the negative. People are going to want to be around you. They're going to be happy to go see houses with you. They're going to be excited to go to the next process and get a home. They're actually like, your positive energy is bleeding into everybody else, and it brings everyone up. Because especially nowadays, where so many people, whenever they talk to each other, it's just bitching about their problems, and they're just trying to relay their problems on the other person to make it seem like their life is worse than the other. I don't know why it's a competition to have the worst life and bitch about the most things, but that seems to be what it is. So I try to bring the positive side, because again, we're going to make a cool purchase or go sell a house. This is exciting stuff that you should be happy about. The fourth is going to be transparency. Now, as Park Woon-soon, oh my goodness, Park Woon-soon once said, I'm not really sure who he is, but he has a really good quote here. Transparency increases credibility and accountability. And for me, the current state of my business, I'm still mainly working with buyers. So I'm always super honest with them. I go into showings telling them, hey, I'm gonna pick out everything in this house that we're viewing, good or bad, and let you know what I see and kind of my viewpoint as a real estate agent who has been through hundreds of houses. And this is what I should tell you or point out or this and that. And I feel like so many real estate agents will meet a buyer, they go into a house, and they start selling their buyer on that specific house. Even though it's not their listing, it's the first time they've ever been in the house and they have no clue about the history of the house, but they're trying to sell it like it's their house that they're selling to you. I work where I'm not necessarily trying to sell you a specific house when you hire me as a buyer agent. I'm trying to find you the house that you feel comfortable putting an offer in and calling it your house. So when that house comes, I'm still gonna pick it apart and be like, hey, this and this and this, whatever it is, good or bad again, maybe the electrical needs updating, maybe the furnace is out of date, or maybe the furnace just got replaced and I should be like, hey, this is something that lasts usually 20, 30 years, so that's a great thing to have brand new. It's just being transparent because again, it builds credibility and it builds the relationship from a good point. And now the fifth habit is personal excellence. And this comes from Andy Frisella. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He has a great podcast, Real AF, but he always says personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. And this one I wanted to throw in at the end, kind of as a cover-all for all my other things I do that does relate to real estate, but more on the personal side of things with just my regular way of living, I should say. So with this, I'm a very regimented person. My Monday through Friday is very similar. All my times are pretty much broken down into certain things I do each week to be consistent with what I put out into my business. So Monday through Friday is pretty much the same. And then the weekends, I am much more lenient because that's typically when I'm showing houses, going to see family, doing things people do on weekends while also working on the weekends. So those I leave more open. But my wake up time, my go to sleep time is still the same. And one of the biggest things that was struggling in my life is I used to set an alarm. I was always a morning person. Like I would set an alarm and I would never hit snooze. I would just get up. But my issue was I was always tired throughout the day. Sometimes not good, especially when you're a delivery driver. You never want to be tired when you're a delivery driver. So one of the biggest things was getting sleep consistently. And instead of setting an alarm, because again, I would always wake up, but instead of setting an alarm for waking up, I would set one to go to bed. And now I go to bed between 9:15, 9:30 every night. Before that, I was always playing video games till like midnight with buddies and then regretting it when I had to wake up at 5 a.m. and I was tired all day. So now I play no video games because I've just grown out of it. It never really interested me anyways. It was more just a social thing to talk to people. But now I just go to bed and then I wake up around 5 to 5:20 a.m. with zero alarm clock whatsoever. And I've been doing this for, I think, almost a year now. And it's so nice not having to hear a stupid alarm clock go off in the morning. It's so much nicer just to wake up and you're ready to go for the day. You had enough sleep. That's why you went to bed early. Now you're good to attack the day. And another thing I do is I'm super strict with working out. I work out every single day. Probably not the best to work out 7 days a week, but if I do take a rest day, it's still an active rest day, whether I'm playing basketball, going for kind of a hike, or playing disc golf, whatever it is, it's still an activity that day. And then my diet has also been a major thing that I had to get in order because again, back when I was playing video games, bad diet, that did not help with my energy levels or anything. And the past 3 years, I've really been switching up diets, losing weight, figuring out what works best for what I'm doing. And right now I'm mainly a carnivore-based diet. I do have little sweets here and there, but it's like once a week. And I feel absolutely great. It's been the best diet I've found so far, and it works very well for me. I don't know if it'll work for you. If you want to give it a try, go for it. I like steak and eggs and hamburger. So this one not only covers personal excellence in your work, but it's just leaking into every part of your life and being personally excellent throughout your whole life to be a well-rounded person. And being personally excellent, you will stand out. People will notice when someone's in great shape, when their skin is healthy because they're eating right, when they know how to dress, and they carry themselves with this certain type of confidence when they walk into a room. And it's not walking into the room like, hey, I'm better than everyone else here. It's more they walk into a room carrying that confidence that, hey, I've done the fucking work. Here are my results. I'm in good shape. I dress well. I know what I'm talking about. I'm educated. I've read. I've done the work, and here it is. So these are my top 5 habits that I work on and stay consistent with to continuously improve my life, my business, and my value I bring to my customers. And I know there's going to be people that want to tear this video apart and say certain things about me. Whatever you want to do, have fun. But just understand, I'm still super young in business. I'm still just trying to find my footing. And these are the habits that I'm instilling in my life to keep building upon what I've already built and just figure out better ways of doing it. Kind of like Alex Hormozi said, he says, more, better, new. So you want to do more of what you're doing, figure out a way to do what you're doing better, and then once you finally do more and better, then you bring in something new. Don't just keep bringing in new things, especially in real estate. There's so many things that will sidetrack you down paths you just don't even need to go down, and you just stick with what you've decided on, and it'll work within time. And one big thing that I think really helps me out is I go into work every single day with the mindset of, hey, I don't know everything. I try reading as much as I can. I try to educate myself as much as I can, but I know there's still things I don't know about real estate. And I also know in every interaction with just about any human being you have, there is something you can learn from those people. So always just have that mindset of, hey, I can learn something here. No matter what situation is, you can learn something, whether it's something to do or something not to do. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys next week.